All right, IM2 classes. Today we're getting into factoring trinomials. So remember, a quick review on what we mean by factoring. What you do is you take a larger quantity and you split it into two smaller quantities that multiply together. So for example, if we take a number like 15, I told you to factor it. That means you're going to break it down into a 3 times 5. Right? We are going to be doing the same thing. We are just going to be doing it with a trinomial. So first example, factor x squared plus 10x plus 16. So what we are going to do with this is we are going to do what I like to call an X factor, or a lot of people call them diamond problems. I don't like calling them diamond problems. I'll explain in class, but in class we've also done a whole bunch of these. At least if I remember to do them with you, you did a whole bunch of these in class. Where the top of the X is a product, and the bottom of the X is a sum, where you get the numbers for the top of the X, because we did a bunch of these where the numbers were given to you. Where you're going to get the numbers is from the polynomial. So from here, x squared plus 10x plus 16, I'm going to take the 16, that's going to be the product. The 10 is going to be the sum. And so now you just need to fill in the sides. What are two numbers that multiply to get 16, and when you add them together, they get 10. So that's going to be 2 times 8. If you have a hard time coming up with that, what you can do is just list out pairs of numbers. List out pairs of numbers that when you multiply them together, you get 16. So numbers that multiply get 16 would be 2 and 8, which we already have, 4 and 4, and then 1 and 16. Stupid extra lines. And then you just find the ones that add to whatever sum you're trying to get. And so we got that 2 and 8. So here, then what we're going to do is split this into 2 sets of parentheses. All right. Each set of parentheses is going to get an X at the beginning, and then these go at the end. So since they're positive, it's going to be plus 2, then plus 8. And that is the factored form of x squared plus 10x plus 16. So just a reminder of what we're doing. We're taking this whole quantity of x squared plus 10x plus 16. All right. We are factoring it. We are splitting it into 2 smaller quantities. In this case, it's x plus 2 and x plus 8. Split into 2 smaller quantities, split into 2 smaller parts that multiply together to get the x squared plus 16. So if we were to multiply this out, either FOIL or using the box or distribute, this would be the answer that we get. All right. Let's do another example. X squared minus 8x plus 12. So here on the top is a product. Again, 12 goes on top. Negative 8 goes on bottom. Yeah, make sure when you're doing this, that negative belongs to that 8. So it's negative 8 on bottoms. What are numbers that multiply together to get 12, add together to get negative 8? For 12, there's lots of pairs that multiply to get 12. So it'll be 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. All right. But it needs to be a negative 8. So we're going to need some negatives here to add together. So this is going to be negative 2, negative 6. Negative 2 plus negative 6 is negative 8. So here I'm going to write out the factors. So it's going to be 2 sets of parentheses. Each set gets an x. And then since these are minuses, it's going to be x minus 2 and x minus 6. And then there we have our factors. All right. Next example. I'm going to do it all here. Here again, that minus belongs to the 21, so it's going to be a negative 21 on top. 4 on bottom. What are pairs of numbers that multiply get negative 21, add to get to 4? So negative 21 or 21, you multiply 1 times 21, and then 3 and 7. All right, but we need a negative 21. So one of those needs to be negative. So it's either -1 and positive 21, or +1, -21, or it's -3, +4, or it's +3, -7. So +4. And so which one of these adds to a +4? That's going to be this here. -3 plus 7 is +4. So -3, 7. So I give set my parentheses, each one gets an X. This one is going to be -3. This one will be +7 since it's positive. Your factors can be switched around. It could be X plus 7 and X minus 3. Doesn't matter. But there, that's what we have. Again, if we were to multiply this out, we would get this example up top. Right? One more example where they're both negative. So here, the last number goes on top, so -20 on top. Remember, there's some invisible math here. There's a 1 in front there. You're not going to put -x. It's going to be a -1 down here. And so what are pairs of numbers that multiply to -20 and add to 1? So 1 and 20 multiplies 20. It could be 2 and 10. It could be 4 and 5. And that's all that's going to multiply to get to 20. But it's negative, so one of these has to be negative. So it's either -1, +20, +1, -20, -2, +10, or +2, -10, -4, +5, or +4, -5. So which sets of these adds to -1? That's -1 plus 20, that's 19. That's -19, 8, -8, +1, -1 down here. So 4 plus -5 is -1. Again, if you're good at doing this in your head, you don't need to list all these out. But this type of factoring, it really is just guessing and checking, guessing pairs of numbers and check to see if that adds to the bottom. That's all it is. It's guessing and checking. For your factors, so X, and then that's going to be a +4 since it's positive, and then a -5. And we are done with that one. And that will do it here. On next time, we're going to have more factoring of trinomials.